So today's video is how to reignite the fire in you. And in order to get to that, and how I'm in the past 24 hours working through that, I want to just start at the beginning because I'm so frustrated with myself and I'm so angry. And it probably is not conveying very well because of the fire has died from a roaring flame down to like a little simmer. um, but I can still feel the emotion sitting over here in my eyes. I got into a very deep survival mode depression in 2019, 2020. A lot of changes happened in my life and I didn't deal with it very well. And since then, I've been basically trying to come back to myself since that point. And there is construction outside. We're going to ignore it. Um, So I've been in survival mode for so long that I've actually forgotten what my purpose looks like and what it felt like. And last night, in the dead of night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, I decided to scroll all the way down to the bottom of my Instagram, where I started my like connection with myself and others. I started Intentional Being, my Instagram and my coaching company, where I was helping people connect better with themselves. I was studying life coaching. I was focusing on my consciousness program and a whole bunch of things that we can get into at a later stage. But the depression hit and I changed my life 180, and I lost that. And looking back I'm looking down at my notes because I have my notes. Looking back at those old Instagram posts and seeing how focused I was and seeing how inspired I was and just how driven. Like, if that version of me in 2018 had to look at myself now in 2025, she'd be like, Aurelia, what happened? I don't see myself in you anymore. And that makes me feel very raw and very vulnerable, because I was posting and people were connecting with that. And I know that, we live in an age where, everyone posts everything about their lives, but there's something very special about connecting to your true self and other people connecting with that as well. Right. And I can see through the development of my Instagram posts through the years how I shared less of myself and I shared less of that motivation to push others because I couldn't push myself, right? How can I help others if I couldn't help myself? And that's why I sort of retreated into myself a lot. But here's the question. How do I connect with that version of myself with the experience and work I've done on myself since that point? So that version of me, like I always called 2028, 2018, sorry, 2018, the best version of myself. I was like peak Aurelia. And I sort of, like I said, I've been losing that. So, but at the same time, I've dealt with a lot of other things in other aspects of my life. So it's not like this version of that who I am now is like nothing. It's just, it's not, I need these two to connect, right? So this is what we're sitting with today. There's a past version of you that you really want to connect with again, with the version that you are now, right? You can't disrespect the version that you are now. You still have to honor who you are. How do we connect these two, right? So this is what we're looking at. And I don't have an answer for you. Because this is not a place for me to give you answers. This is for a place for us, you and me, to figure it out together. So if you're looking for a sign, let me tell you what I wrote to myself and to us at 2 o'clock this morning. This is not an inspirational space. This is your sign to kick your ass into gear. This is us figuring out who your higher self is and embodying that version of yourself, or you'll land up with years lost. Stop running from life. Stop running from life. I've been running, I think, from myself for so long that I've actually forgotten what it looks like to participate. And that is an emotional statement. I'll repeat. I have been running from life for so long, I've forgotten what it looks like to participate. So, There's not a space about regret. This is a space of anger and a space of frustration, because in that, change happens, right? We don't want things to boil up and then nothing happens. We want to feel that anger, feel that drive, feel that connection, and move in that direction. So the quote of today is, I'm quoting Aurelia, circa 2018. If you're craving an energy you haven't found, maybe it's time for you to create it yourself. And the only two things that I can, let's say, tidbits or nuggets that I can share with you that I'm using for myself going forward is find that anger energy. I'm not saying be angry, I'm saying that anger energy, that fieriness, find that fire, because fire is energy and that will keep you moving in the right direction. And then the thing that I'm going to try and embody going forward is, do you remember back in the 2000s, everyone used to wear those bracelets that said, "What would Jesus do?" At least in South Africa. It was very popular. I am going to start asking myself, what would Aurelia do? What would Aurelia, her higher self, my best self that I really felt that passion, what would she do? Right? And that's what I'm going to embody myself for. If you're still here and you've listened to me ramble and trying to figure out the process of this reigniting that fire and passion, here's the quote, not the quote, the prompt of today, the journal prompt. You can write it in the comments, you can write it in your journal, you can meditate over it while you are running, whatever. But the question that I have for us is, when did I feel the most alive and fully myself? How can I reconnect to that version of me? Right, so I'll leave that in the comment, in the description of the video. I hope that you connect with this, and if any of you are going through the same things, I would love that's my cat. I would love just a hello, just to say that you are in the same journey as I am, trying to become the version of us that we respect, appreciate, and want to be moving forward. Anyway, that's it for today. I will catch you soon.